It's a beautiful evening for football as we get set here at Indian River Central School District. We welcome you to the stream here on NBC Watertown, live streaming on YouTube and sponsored as always by Bob Johnson Auto Group. I am your solo commentator tonight, Josh Madison. Alongside me on the stream team today, we have Zach Zabriskie. Over on the cameras, we have Cody Wheeler and Morgan Young. We got a big matchup today. We have two teams both in the Class B Western Division. Indian River looking to continue the hot season that they've been going through. We've been following them quite a bit throughout the season. Last week, as you saw us over in Watertown, as we saw Indian River take on Watertown, and a few weeks prior, we watched Indian River take on Carthage in that incredible game. But tonight they're taking on Homer, who are looking to turn around their season. They're currently sitting at 2-3, but don't take that record lightly. They are a strong team, and they're looking to up that record to a 3-3 here tonight. As we have the coin toss here in the middle of the field, Indian River being run mostly by Trevor Shawcross. We saw him last week as our player of the game. Currently in the season, he's at 81 rushing attempts, 1,233 yards, and 15 touchdowns. As teams get into the huddle, ready to go. Like I said, Trevor's having a great season, but on the other side of the football, Homer's got a running back that they love to use. Next, Alex Votra. He is 121 rushing attempts, 678 yards, and 12 touchdowns. So both teams definitely favoring the run game, and both teams also like to share the ball around the field. Both have multiple running backs that they like to give the ball to, and their quarterbacks are not afraid to throw the ball either. As we are just about set to watch these teams take the field for our opening kickoff. It's a bit windy today up here in the booth, and it's a bit chilly as well. But Indian River looks like they will be the ones kicking off to get this one started. So it will be Lucas Glassburn back to kick. And let's do it here at Indian River. It's a bit of a squib kick, and it'll bounce around, and it will eventually roll out of bounds. So the flag will go up, and we're underway for this one. So the Trojans will start their drive at the 41, the Indian River 41. So they will have some beautiful starting position on their first drive. Max Franco, the quarterback, leading the Trojans. Hands it off to start this one. Pushing his way through. That's our guy, Alexandra Voltra. As he'll run that one for a few. And it looks like that one will go for about 4, so it'll be 2nd and 6. On our first play from scrimmage. Both teams with very similar formations on offense. There's a pitch to the outside. It's going to be Voltra again. And he'll get wrapped up. Won't go down, but they'll just hold him still till the whistle blows. Looks like a good 3 there. So it'll be second or third and 3. Another handoff. Ultra again, pushing his way through. Gets down to about the 30. Looks like they'll spot him at the 29. We'll see, and yes, that will be good enough for a Trojan first down. So the chains will move as we pass through 10.5 minutes in the first quarter. Going now with an extra wide receiver on the side, but the play is still the same. Give it to Voltra. He'll take it forward, but I believe that was actually Trevor Shawcross. Took him down at the knees, dropped him after a gain of about 3. So it'll be 2nd and 7 yet again. Trojans not changing up their plans for the Wolves tonight. They're still giving it to Alex. Here's another play where they're giving it to him. He's going to push his way forward. Takes a few to take him down. But eventually the Wolves will take him down after a gain of about 4. So it will now be 3rd and 3 yet again. Same I formation. Hands it off. Voltra this time, he's going to get stopped right at the line. If even, I'm not even sure if he'll get to the line. They will spot him a yard back, and it will now be 4th down for the Trojans. Not a ton of yards to gain, so we'll see if they go for it. With a run game like they have, would not be shocked. Sure enough, Franco just about to take the snap, and flags come out. And it looks like this is going to make this 4th down a little bit harder to gain, as that is a false start on the offense. So 5 yards further back, and it will now be a 4th and 8 for the Trojans. Doesn't look like that will change their game plan. They'll stick to going for it. Franco, who's not been afraid to pass the ball, gonna do it here. Looking, has a man. He's got it down the sideline, stays on his feet, and he's in. Touchdown, Trojans. That pass to Bryson Poole. It was a beautiful pass by Franco right over the shoulder. Great catch, and he just ran it right down the sideline. As we take another look here, the fake handoff, and he's got a good throw. Just put it right on him, bobbled it for a second, and then he just ran for it. Would not go down, wouldn't move. Looked like one wolf stepped up, but he just lowered the shoulder, would not be stopped to getting into the end zone. Trojans now going for 2. This time they'll just hand it off, but he won't get there. Indian River stops him there. But the Trojans will come off the field with 6 points up on the board. And Franco adding another passing touchdown onto his stat sheet. converting on a 4th and 8 and turning that into 6 points, as they will now send off their kickoff team. And they'll be giving the Wolves their first drive of the night. Just under 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. That'll be Michael Grinnell who will kick this one off. That one, a line shot kick. That'll land at about the 21, and it'll be picked up. And a little bit of space and a good run there. Recover that one for about 7. Good run there by Caden Elliott for the Wolves. And that will be where the Wolves will start this offensive drive. Led out there by their quarterback, Tegan Wynn. Hasn't thrown the ball as much as the Trojans have this season, but he can when he wants to as he pitches that one out. That one's Ariel Raymond. He'll gain about 5. Cut this first down in half, and it'll be 2nd and 5. Indian River not afraid to just get to the line. This time they're going to hand that one off to Trevor Shawcross, who's going to cut it to the outside, cuts it back in, and he'll get a first and a little bit extra, getting it down to about the 45. But there is a flag down at about the 34. Let's see what this is on. And it looks like that will be an illegal block on the offense. And it will be a spot of the foul penalty. But it's not a kind one, as that will turn this second down into now a 2nd and 12 for the Wolves, which is not good considering that they did just have a first down on that play. Reagan now is going to be over to Ariel Raymond, who trips up. Looked like the defender just clipped him, and it was just enough to knock him off balance as he came tumbling forward, but that was a great run. Looks like that will be a good 8-yard gain for Raymond. And it'll be now 3rd and about 4. Same formation. Looks like an inside handoff. It's kind of tough to see with the scruffle, but I think it's enough for a first down, and it is. I believe that was another handoff to Trevor Shawcross as he just bolted up the middle and dove forward for a Wolves first down. This one with no flags, so this first down will stand. Another man in motion. This one is a pitch to Trevor. He's going to cut his way to the outside. He puts his hand, puts that defender to the ground. He ends up tripping up at about the 48. It'll be Gunnar Tyrell who will get credit for the tackle. Number 7, Trevor Shawcross. That'll be a 10-yard run, and that will be enough for another Indian River first down as they rush to the line here. And just before the snap, looked like the whole line got pushed back. And that will be offsides on the defense. And that's going to happen when you run as quickly of an offense that the Wolves do. On that play, they just faked the snap, and it caught the Trojans sleeping. But this time, they are going to snap it, and they are going to give it to Trevor. And he'll definitely have enough for a first down, running it down to the Trojan 35. And the Wolves are on the move. And they're just going to get right back to the line. They're going to hike it. And it looked like the Trojans were getting some substitutions, and a flag will come in. The Trojans didn't get their substitutions off in time. And that's what's going to happen when you have, again, as quick of a snap that the Wolves use. They just get right to the line and snap it. And it makes it difficult for teams to sub off in time.
The flag on the play for 12 men on the field against the defense.
But it also works out in the Wolves' favor in that the defense is tired. The only disadvantage is that your offense can get tired pretty quick if you keep running it. But that will add 5 yards to this first down snap. And it looks like Wolves are getting their play call in as they'll get to the line with still 30 seconds on the play clock, and they won't waste any time to snap it and give it to Ariel Raymond, who's going to have some room. Jumped over a man on the ground, and he'll run it all the way down to the 20 before he's taken down. Another great run there by Ariel Raymond. A defender kind of got blocked and put on the ground, and he just hopped right over and kept on running. So another first down for the Wolves. Another man in motion. A flag comes in. Shawcross, though, going to tiptoe his way around. Gets into the 5. Looks like they'll spot him at the 7. But again, there is a flag back at the 25. It was just about as the snap was taken. And it looks like it is an offensive penalty.
It's a 5-yard penalty against the offense. Still first down.
And that will set them back 5 yards, but it will still be a first down, so it'll be 1st and 15, now at the 25. That first down marker sitting at the 10. Wolves offense has yet to be stopped yet on this one. But this one, inside handoff to their power back, and he pushes forward for a few, but it won't be that many. That one, Frederick Haynes Jr.
Number 2, Fred Haynes with the carry, picks up a couple. 2nd down.
Trying to do a little bit of some misdirection. Got a few out of it, but it'll be 2nd and 13. Now they're just going to pitch it over to Trevor. He's going to cut back to the outside. He'll lunge forward, trying to get some extra credit on that run. He'll get inside the original 10 yards that they were hoping to get, but they'll now be on 3rd and 9 as they rush to the line. And they get a man jumping again. Yet again, you have that quick get to the line, motion, snap, get to the line, motion, snap. They get to the line, fake the snap, gets him to jump. Now it'll be 3rd and 4 for the Wolves. Much more manageable, trying to get down to that 10-yard line. They're just going to give it to Trevor, who's going to find a hole, cuts to the outside, and gets into the end zone, and the Wolves are on the board. Trevor Shawcross finds the end zone yet again.
Number 7, Trevor Shawcross cuts through the defense, finds the score.
As you watch that one back, he just very agile player, very elusive. You leave even just the smallest hole in the defense, and he just cuts right through it. As they now set up for the 2 points, and they're going to get it. A direct snap to Shawcross as he was back in shotgun, and you give him enough room to read the defense, like I said, very agile.
Homer 6.
He'll just cut and shift his way in for 2 points, as now the Wolves are in the lead, as they now sit 8-6. Just a little bit over 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Both teams, through their first drive on offense, both ended in a touchdown. The difference maker right now is a 2-point conversion from the Wolves. Indian River will now go back for the kick. Last time they went for an onside kick, but it just kind of spun out of bounds after only 5 yards. This one, a different kicker is going to kick it, and it's bobbled around. There's a bit of a scruff on the ball. We'll see who's on top of it. And it is Wolves ball. It was kind of booted there by, I believe, Landon Manning. And it was just jumped on top of. Indian River went for a little bit of a misdirection onside kick. It was kicked in the first play by Lucas Glassburn, but this time they faked it, and it was Nicholas Burt who ended up with the kick. As now the Wolves will start their next drive, and it's going to be a keeper for Tegan Wynn, and he'll lunge forward to get a first down and some change.
Number 10, Tegan Wynn.
And that will be another Wolves first down. Wolves doing a good job at just using all different types of run plays. This one, another inside handoff to the power back. That one not going anywhere as they stop him at the line.
Brett Haynes gets back to the line of scrimmage. Second down.
So it'll be a second down. It looks like they did give him a yard, so it'll actually be 2nd and 9. And you see the Trojans defense. They know what formation they'll be running. As this time they're going to pitch it to Trevor. He's not going to go down easily. He'll dive forward out to the 30. And that'll be about 3rd and 4.
Number 7, Trevor Shawcross keeps the feet moving. Picks up 5. 3rd down.
The Wolves' run game continuing to move downfield. This time it'll be Raymond who will catch this pitch, and he'll get to the outside, and he's got space, and he is gone. Touchdown Wolves. Ariel Raymond getting the pitch on this one, and he just found enough space, and he is a fast runner. It's tough to catch him when he gets his legs going.
Great block by 54, Nicholas
As we watch this one
Burt.
back,
Touchdown.
last time they went to Trevor, this time they just pitch it to him. A great block there by Trevor Shawcross as he just found the open space. And he used it to his advantage, getting into the end zone yet again. As they now set up for their second 2-point conversion. Again, Trevor just going to run it himself. He might as well have just walked it in there with that kind of blocking.
Number 7, Trevor
As the
Shawcross
Wolves
takes
will
a
now
nice
jump
snap.
to a 16-6 lead.
For Indian River 16, Homer 6.
That drive starting on the onside kick that was bobbled by the Trojans and dove in on top of by the Wolves. And their run game has yet to be stopped. And I mean, it's been the key to their success. It's why they are currently 4-1 and are on the hunt for 5-1. And And for the third time this quarter, we have an Indian River kickoff. First time, an onside kick that failed. The second time, an onside kick that worked. We'll see what they go for here on the third one. Going for back to that first onside kick. That one, Trojans will dive on top of. That'll be Caden Durham. We'll dive on top of that. Caden Durham. We'll dive on top of it. And the Trojans will start their drive at the 48 for this one. Their second offensive drive of the day. Their first one went for 6. Ended on a touchdown pass by Max Franco on a deep fourth down. We'll see what they do here on their first play. They're going to hand it off to Alexandra Voltra, and he's going to get stopped at the line. Voltra tried to push forward, but the Wolves, almost 4 of them, just dove in there and blocked the hole that he was going for. Stopped him at the line. So it'll now be 2nd and 10. Another handoff to Voltra. This time he'll dive forward for a couple. So it'll be 3rd and 8 now for the Trojans.
Carried by number 45, Voltra goes for about 2. Be 3rd and long.
So 3rd and medium for the Trojans. And just before he takes the snap, we have a timeout for the Wolves. Their first of the half, their first of the quarter. With just about 45 seconds left here in the first quarter. It's pretty obvious that the offenses are definitely choosing to stick to their run game plan. It has been their bread and butter all season. They are not shying away from it in this one. As now the Trojans get set back up here for their 3rd and 8. This time a pitch, and he's going to get brought back all the way behind the line. That pitch to Bryson Poole.
Number 72,
Too many Wolves just get into the backfield, and they will now be on a 4th down and 10. This drive seeming to go nowhere, as now it looks like they have someone back to punt. They have a couple of players a few yards back. Looks like there's a bit of a discussion as the clock will strike 000. As we will have an end to the first quarter. Pretty eventful first quarter. Indian River getting into the end zone twice. However, the quarter starting with the Trojans finding the end zone. They had a failed 2-point conversion, and from that point on, it's been all Wolves. As we end the first quarter. During this break, we'll honor some of our sponsors. First of all, Bob Johnson Auto Group, Bob Johnson, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, new or used. It does not matter with Bob Johnson's Got Your Ride. $5 car wash on Fridays as well. May want to use some of those. Although, maybe it'll have to be next week. Another proud sponsor for NBC Direct Subs. Direct Subs, been founded in 1967 in Carthage, now open across all of New York State, preserving its heritage and commitment to excellence. Go get yourself a beautiful and delicious sub at Direct Subs. As we now get set for the second quarter, Trojans 4th and 10 as they will elect to punt. That one gets away. Warriors didn't have anyone back to receive, but they will end up with the ball at the 11. So it'll be a long drive needed for the Wolves if they want to find back into the end zone, but not one that they haven't done before. As this offense gets back on the field. Their run game has been very dominant in the first quarter. They'll try and repeat that and continue that in the second. Been very difficult for Homer to stop this team. And looked like a fake snap, and it looked like a jump in the neutral zone. And that will be an added 5 yards for the Wolves, making this drive just 5 yards easier, and this first down play 5 yards easier. They now get set for a 1st and 5. This time they're just going to hand it off. Oh no, it's a fake handoff, and it's Tegan Wynn, who's got all the space in the world, all the way down to the other side of the field. A beautiful run by the quarterback. Faked the handoff, faked me out, and cut into open space. Eventually got caught up after about a 49-yard run. As we take a look, just got slowed down there, trying to get the blocks in front, trying to follow his block, but just slowed him down enough for a Trojan to catch him, and now we have a Wolf jumping on the play. It's Tyler Allen who jumped, and you could see his frustration, wanting to keep this offense moving the way it has been. Just got a little too excited on that one. So it'll be 1st and 15. This time they are going to hand it off to the power back, and he'll get back to the line and no more. As Homer does get back to him and stop him right at the line. So it'll be 2nd and 15 for the Wolves. So we pass down our first minute gone here in the second quarter. This time they're going to pitch it to Trevor Shawcross, who's got some space, and he's going to run it for a 1st down and much more, pushing his way around inside the red zone, where eventually what seems like the entire Trojan defense surrounds him and holds him at the 18 as Trevor Shawcross continues his impeccable night. And the Wolves now inside the red zone will happily take this 1st down and 10. This time a pitch. It's going to go to Raymond. He's going to try and stay on his feet, but eventually gets circled down and loses his helmet on the play. And a flag comes in. Brought down there. Look like they will spot him at. They'll spot him 2 yards behind, but because they hit.
Personal foul penalty against the defense.
I believe it was a late hit is what they are calling it. But either way, That will put 5 yards onto the 2-yard loss, and it will turn into a 3-yard gain. Just before taking the snap, refs come in waving their hands. Looks like they're checking something over on the sideline. And pointing over at the sideline ref. I'm not sure really what the conversation is over there. Well, looks like they figured this one out, and it will maybe miscounted. Looks like it was originally supposed to be a 10-yard penalty from not entirely sure, honestly, but they are currently spotted at the 12 for this next play, and it looks like they still haven't totally figured out what's going on, as now one of the refs over on the side is talking it over with the Trojan coach, but it will be a 1st and goal now. So it will reset the downs. They're still trying to sort this out. While they're trying to sort this out, why don't you give a call to Tonio Altieri, your local hometown agent at the Grimsley Agency's Watertown location. Just call 315-782-8277. Again, that's for Tonio Altieri, one of our proud sponsors for NBC Watertown. Tonio Altieri, a good hometown agent in Watertown's Grimsley Agency's location. Just call 315-782-8277. And it looks like we now have it figured out. And the Wolves will get back on it, but they're told to back up, as now the refs are going to head over and discuss it with the Wolves coach. By the way, this is all following a play on a pitch play to Ariel Raymond. He was taken down, spun around, and then eventually lost his helmet on a hit. A flag came in. They moved the ball up about, I think it was about 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Now they are currently 12 yards from the spot of the foul. And now they've discussed it with somebody else, and now they're back over onto the Trojan side to discuss this, as they've now reset the ball on the 9. And now we are back and set to play some football. So all of that, and now a 1st and goal at the 9. And it's a fake handoff, and Teagan will walk it in. And after all of this discussion, it's a 9-yard touchdown rush for Teagan Wynn.
Touchdown, Wolves, number 10.
As much as I'd love to be excited about it, with such a long wait, Teagan just walks it in for a touchdown. And now the Wolves will up their lead to 22-6. And it looks like they'll go for two yet again. This time they're going to be under center. Teagan's going to be the one under center. And he's going to pitch it to Raymond, who's going to run it himself. And for the third time tonight, the Wolves are successful on their two-point conversion.
Number 8, Ariel Raymond converts the two-point conversion, making your score Indian River 24, Homer 6.
So another successful drive for the Wolves, originally starting at their 11, but due to offsides, it started at the 16. But as they have done all game, just run it down their throats, and that's exactly what they did, and gave themselves another 8 points, adding to this lead. Run game has been very strong. Now 3 separate players on the Wolves offense have scored a touchdown. The first one being Trevor Shawcross, followed by Ariel Raymond, and then the most previous by their quarterback Teagan Wynn. As now the Wolves will yet again line up for a kickoff. And it will be a little bit of a bobble there, but eventually he just falls on top of it. And it will be Trojans ball. And again, that kickoff by Nicholas Burt. He was the one who had the onside kick that ended up working for the Wolves.
First down, Trojans.
A second onside kick there that kind of got bobbled, but this one didn't get too far away from him that he can just drop on top of it. As now the Trojans will start at their own 48. As I'm pretty sure every single drive has started on this very yard line. As now they will start in a big hit there at the line. Another handoff to Voltra. But that hit,
Number 0, Zach McMahon with the big hit.
it's like running into a brick wall over there.
Second down.
Stopping him at the line, and it will be 2nd and 10. As we pass 9.5 minutes left in the half. 2nd and 10. Never snapped it, and every single player moved, but the football remains in the same spot. So it will be a false start
Offense will be a 5-yard penalty.
on
Still second down.
20 players on the field. The only 2 people who didn't move, the center and the quarterback. But all of that will end in 5 yards lost, and it'll be 2nd and 15. Second and long. Hands it off to Voltra. Tries to get to the outside, but the Wolves wrap him up and bring him down. That'll be a loss of 3. That'll make this third down
67.
even more difficult as they are now spotted
With the tackle for
at about their
a
own 40.
third down.
This Wolves defense showing their strength early on in this one, and their offense has just been borderline unstoppable. Trojans are going to need to look for a big second half and a big end to this first half if they want to get back into it. Fakes the handoff, looking over the sky, tipped around and knocked free. That pass was intended for Bryson Poole. He had the receiving touchdown earlier. It looked like he was reaching over his head to catch, and he dropped it, but there is a flag, I believe, for roughing the passer, and that will move this play forward. Interestingly enough, it's a 15-yard penalty. but they're still not in first down range. However, roughing the passer is an automatic first down. So without even going forward an original 10 yards, the Trojans will have a new set of downs. As there's they now set back up. And another handoff, which goes absolutely nowhere, losing a yard on the play. And it'll be 2nd and 11. Looks like they switched around quarterbacks over there. Evan Sullivan actually behind center on that snap. Same play as they've ran for the most part, just a handoff.
Goes for a gain of 0, 2nd down.
But it'll be 2nd and 11. As Warriors defense itself has yet to allow a positive yard on this drive. However, the penalties have put them to where they're at. As this is now a fake handoff, looking deep into the night sky, but it falls at the 15, just overshot his man. Anthony Guido was the intended receiver on that. Just overshot him. He had his defender beat. He just couldn't catch up to that pass. So it'll now be 3rd and 11. Max Franco really letting that one fly there. $7:22 left in the half, and a timeout for the Trojans. Their first of the half. As they look to reset and possibly get some points on the board on this drive, as they have struggled to do so since their first drive. Their first drive, a very successful one, put in 6 points. Since then, they've been stuffed. Indian River went down, scored a touchdown, got the 2 points, and then recovered an onside kick. Went down, scored again, and then this time turned into a 3-and-out. And the second quarter opened with a Trojan punt, and then the Warriors drove down and scored yet again. And that's where we stand right now as far as the score. Indian River has successfully converted every single 2-point conversion that they've attempted, which has been all 3. And the Trojans, with only 1 2-point conversion attempt, failed that one, as now they set up for a 3rd and 11. Man in motion, and they're going to hand it to him for a little bit of a jet sweep, but he's got the outside, and he's going to get the first down as he dives forward. That's Jack Brady. A very different play call from what we've seen up to this point in this one. Most of their runs have been up the middle to Alex Votra. This one, they send the man in motion and then just put it in his chest, as he takes off for a good 13. And they go back to their bread and butter. Alex Votra gets stuffed at the line. Right now, the Wolves have him figured out, as they are not letting him get very far. It'll be 2nd and 10. This time they're going to pitch it to Votra. He's going to try and cut his way around, but he's going to get dropped all the way back to the 40. Lone Wolf got back there and just kind of held him as the rest of them came in and dropped him. That'll be a loss of 4, and it'll be a 3rd and 14 for the Trojans as we pass halfway through this second quarter. Trojans needing a score on this drive to get some momentum back. Fakes the handoff to Voltra. He's got some pressure, trying to run it himself. He's going to get some space, and he tiptoes his way. I'm not sure if he got enough. Looks like they're going to put him not even a yard short if that stands. They will spot him at exactly the 25. Not even a full yard short, and it'll be 4th and inches.
Number 15, Franco, with the quarterback keeper, picks up about 9. It'll be a 4th.
The play drawn up was meant to be a pass, but with the Wolves' pressure, he just decided to take off, and he got some space. This time they're just going to hand it to Alex, and he just kind of lays down, and that will easily be enough for a first. So the Trojans will get a new set of downs as they now have the ball at the 23. As we pass by 5 minutes left in the half. Takes the snap, another pitch, this time to Voltra, and he's going to bulldoze his way forward for 3. And that will be where the Wolves put him down.
Picks up about 3. Second down.
And so it'll be 2nd and 7 for the Trojans. No matter how many times this Wolves defense has stopped him, they do not shy away from giving it to Alex Voltra. As this last play got him another few. 2nd down. 2 receivers on the far side, and he's going to drop back to pass, but he's going to get dropped immediately. I believe that was Nicholas Burt who got into the backfield.
Nicholas Burt with the
Quarterback never even saw him coming. Just dropped back, did his 3-step drop, and all of a sudden found himself flat on his back. As it's now 3rd and 13. And it'll be another timeout for the Trojans.
Timeout. Homer.
As they set up for another 3rd down. While we're in this timeout, we'll talk to you about our proud replay sponsor, the Carthage Area Hospital. The North Star Health Alliance and its members, Carthage Area Hospital, North Country Orthopedics, Claxton, Hepburn, and Meadowbrook Terrace, are dedicated to keeping healthcare local and, trust us, close to home. Why drive to Syracuse, Rochester, Utica, or Vermont? North Star Health Alliance keeps healthcare local and close to home, right where you need it. Have an orthopedic injury? North Country Orthopedics offers same-day appointments. Just call 315-782-1650 today and get the care you need. Again, that's 315-782-1650. Carthage Area Hospital, a proud sponsor of NBC Watertown, and they are the sponsor that gives us our replay footage that we've seen on our 4 touchdowns here in the first half. As now this 3rd and 13, looking to throw. He's going to run again, trying to get that 3rd down magic like he did before, and it will, getting all the way down inside the 10. Unless they spot him before. One ref, they will spot him at the 11, so he will be stopped before the 10.
With the quarterback keeper, picks up a 1st down for the Trojans.
We're now inside the red zone, knocking on their door of their second touchdown of the half. They're going to rush to the line. They only got 5 seconds left to get this snap off. They do. They're going to hand it off. Barreling his way through before a few Wolves get in there and drop him behind the line. That's Bryson Poole who gets the handoff. Seemed like his idea of that carry was just put 2 hands on it and lower the shoulder and get as many yards as you can before you get tripped up. And he got a few. They'll be spotted at the 10, so it'll be 2nd and 9 at the 10-yard line. This time they're going to hand it off to Alex. Runs right into a bunch of traffic, but bounces off of it. And he'll push his way forward for a gain of 4. And it'll be 3rd. Looks like a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. But they will be spotted at the 8. Sorry, the 7-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 6. Handoff. Oh no, a fake handoff. He's going to look for the end zone. Couldn't get him. Just overshot him. Intended receiver to Timothy Post, as it will now be 4th down. It'd be a tough blow on the Trojans if they had this whole drive and were just 8 yards short of a first, or 8 yards short of a touchdown. They would love to get some points on, as we're under 2 minutes left in the half. Drops back, fakes the handoff again. Pressure coming, throwing, end zone. Caught, but he is out of bounds. And that will be incomplete. And it will be a turnover on downs. And the Wolves will now retake possession at the 7-yard line. A beautiful stop there for the Wolves, stopping them just when they need to. As with just under 2 minutes left in the half, they will take over. Now with how this offense has been going, even with their running offense that they have ran all day, the question still remains, can they get into the end zone again before the half? Or can this Trojan defense hold them off for just long enough? 10 seconds left on the play clock. Takes a snap, pitches to Trevor. Trevor's got some space. He's going to shove off a man, and he'll gain about 10 before being brought down at about the 22, 23. They hustle to the line. They're going to try and score here. This time they're going to pitch it to Raymond, who's going to push forward and won't get a bunch. And it'll be 2nd and 8. Clock's still ticking, under a minute and a half left. Indian River not wasting any time. They want to get back to the line. Raymond, he's going to take the later pitch this time. He'll push forward. He'll only get a few more. Another gain of 3, and it's 3rd down. We edge closer to a minute remaining. They get back to the line. Trevor doesn't get the handoff. It's Teagan who's going to keep it himself. Or I believe it was actually given to the power back. He'll get a yard or 2, and it's enough for a 1st down. They got to get back to the line. Just seconds remaining. A pitch to Raymond. Jukes off a man. Tries to push through. Can't. Gets brought down behind the line. As the clock will stop, and the Wolves will call a timeout. their second of the half, as that will stop the clock with just under 40 seconds left here in the first half. This Trojan defense has been able to stop this run game. We'll see if they can keep that going. They've actually been able to stop this run game, I believe, better in this drive than they have up to this drive. This Warriors offense has just had its way for the majority of the first half. But it seems like right now the Trojans have the answer. We'll see if that will hold for the rest of the half, or if the Trojans can continue that into the second half. And make this one a little bit closer. They're currently down 18. As they get set up. Ready to start the next pair of plays, as this one's going to be a pitch to Trevor Shawcross, who's going to launch a pass downfield, and it is caught downfield on the other side of the 50 and brought down. Colton White with the catch. And that is not a play that you're used to seeing from the Wolves. A pitch to Trevor Shawcross, who begins to run. And just before he gets hit, he lets loose a pass, deep downfield, mind you, to Colton White, who snags it right over the shoulder. It was a beautiful pass. And turns it into a massive gain for the Wolves and ends up going out of bounds, which stops the clock at 30 seconds. Wolves now on the other side of the 50. A pitch to Raymond. He's got space. Raymond's got speed. Raymond does a stiff arm, and he'll get brought down to the 22. He's down in the middle of the field, so now they got to hustle to the line.
First down, Wolves.
They started the clock just in time for Trevor to put down the spike. And so now it will be 2nd and 10 as they start the next play. Second down as they stop the clock at about 22 seconds. Takes a snap. Looks like a double handoff, and that goes nowhere. Losing a yard on that. And a timeout now for the Wolves, their final one of the half. With 17 seconds left to go. We haven't seen much of a kicker yet in this one. So I'm not sure if they have a leg ready to get one in. If they don't, they're 24 yards away from getting into the end zone. If they do, then they're going to want to make sure that they conserve enough time to get him out there. They come out of the timeout, making sure that they have these up and coming plays set up. Obviously, if one works, you score, but 17 seconds left in the half. Wolves trying to punch one in. Wynn drops back, passes, caught. And it's Ariel Raymond who will get the first and then some, and he'll run himself out of bounds, stopping the clock at 11 seconds. He'll get himself inside the 10. It'll be a 1st and goal at the 1, and a beautiful job by the Wolves team to stop the clock. As the refs converge over on the far side, right on the number 10. But looks like nothing comes of it. That was the first pass that we've seen from Tegan Wynn. The second pass that we've seen from the Wolves, the first one coming earlier in this very drive by Shawcross. is now with 11 seconds. Drops back to pass again, throwing, and it's intercepted over the top. And he is going to run it back. He's at the 20, the 30, and he's going to get brought down at the 40 with a second left on the play clock here. A flag comes in at the end of the play. I believe that was Evan Sullivan who got the pick. Just overshot his man, who was Trevor Shawcross, just overshot him, and it ended right in the hands of Evan Sullivan, who spun around and ran for a good 40 yards. He had some space. I was almost thinking for a minute that he was going to run it all the way back. As we take another look at that play. Nope. Oh. Here it is. Deegan just drops back, just overshot Shawcross, and a beautiful catch. It almost saved their drive of him going out right there. If he kept running and got brought down later, we'd be going into the half. Instead, there's still a second left to go. But at the end of all of this, the flag down is a roughing the passer.
Flag is for a personal foul against Helmer. Would be a first down for
So a roughing the passer on Homer resets the play. So now the Wolves get it. However, there is now a play on the Wolves for having too many players on the field. Their sideline was too close to the field. So that moves the play back 10 yards. So after all of this, after the pass, the interception, the run back, all of this, it ends still with the Wolves with the ball. There still is a second on the clock. It's still a first and goal. And it's spotted at the 20 for the Wolves. So this pass, if it is a pass, has to go to the end zone. If it's a run, it has to go to the end zone. And if it's a kick, then it's got to make it into the uprights to get some points. But I believe they're actually calling it a 1st and 10. They're not even giving them a first and goal. They're resetting the whole drive. Tegan Wynn takes the snap. He's going to look. End zone. Misses the pass. It falls incomplete. And that will end the half. So a bit of chaos to end the half. But in the end, the score remains the same. 24-6, Indian River leads going into the half. Right now,
halftime, your score, Indian River 24, Homer 6.
Indian River has definitely dominated both sides of the ball. Their defense stopping the run game from Homer.
Now entering the field,
and their run game has been pretty dominant up to this point. So we head into halftime. We check out a few more of our sponsors, one of them being Laura Whitney from State Farm. She is a second-generation State Farm agent serving the North Country for over 40 years. The Laura Whitney State Farm has over 100 years of combined experience in the insurance industry. Laura Whitney State Farm offers banking products, hospital income policies, as well as auto, home, life, renters insurance, and much more. Our mission at Laura Whitney State Farm is to provide outstanding customer service while helping our community manage the risks of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and realize their dreams. Another one is our end of the game, player of the game sponsor, being IBEW 910 NICA. Your source for local qualified electricians. You can expect every project to be on time and on budget, representing professional technicians and contractors across 6 counties. As of right now, at the half, I still will have to give our early IBEW 910 NICA player of the game to Trevor Shawcross. His running has definitely ran the Indian River offense up to this point, and he has done an incredible job doing so. Although he only has one of their 3 touchdowns, he has definitely led this offense to the score that it is right now. As we head into the half, we'll take a break. And yet again, I am your solo commentator of the night, Josh Madison. Alongside me, Zach Zabriskie, and then on cameras, Cody Wheeler and Morgan Young. We'll take a break here at the half, and we'll catch back up for the start of the second half.
Contact IBEW 910 NICA, your local electricians, for your next project. Achieving quality work through utilization of safety procedures, training, and skills, IBEW 910 NICA represents professional technicians and contractors across 6 counties. You can expect to be on time and on budget for a variety of services, including renewable energy projects, power distribution, voice and data, and more. Servicing residential, commercial, industrial, and agricultural needs, contact IBEW 910 NICA, your local electricians, today.
Find your future in a range of groundbreaking fields like geology, environmental science, environmental studies, and archaeological studies. Now is the time to dig deep and make an impact on the world around you. Find your own path forward at SUNY Potsdam.
At the North Star Health Alliance, we're dedicated to keeping healthcare local. Our multidisciplinary orthopedics team is leading the way with innovative techniques and specialized procedures that restore mobility and empower active, pain-free lives. There's no need to travel for care. From sports medicine to general orthopedic surgery, we've got you covered. With credentialed and board-certified providers across our system, we bring specialized, convenient care directly to you wherever you are. Because with North Star Health Alliance, your health is our mission.
Hi, this is Mike Perkins at the all-new Bob Johnson Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Outer Washington Street in Watertown. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? If you are, come on in and check out some of our Jeep Wrangler hybrids. We have over 30 of them available, and the lease is starting out at just $399 a month. Check out our all-new touchless car wash, which is starting out at $5 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. With over 800 new vehicles available, check us out on Outer Washington Street, Watertown, or on BobJohnsonCDJR.com. Hi, this is Mike Perkins at the all-new Bob Johnson Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Outer
We welcome you back for the second half of this Class B West matchup between the Indian River Wolves and the Homer Trojans. The first half started with a Trojan touchdown, but since then was all Wolves. Wolves found the end zone 3 times, got the 2-point conversion on each of them. And that's where we stand now, but we have a kickoff here as it's now an onside kick to get set here for the second half as the Wolves fall on top. And the Wolves will start their offensive drive to begin the second half. Tyson Chaft is going to be the one who's going to fall on top of that to give the Wolves their first drive. Like I said, Wolves offense basically ran the first half, literally and figuratively, running the ball all over the place and getting their 3 touchdowns. As they now set up to start the half. Gonna hand it off. Trevor Shawcross called his name a lot in the first half, but he is gonna find some room. A big chunk of change for him. That'll move the chains. 25 yards on the first snap of scrimmage to start up this second half. Trevor Shawcross. He was our early IBEW 910 NICA player of the game, and he's showing right there on why. Is they're going to give it right back to him. Give it to the hot hand. He's got the blocks in front. He's got another gain. He's got it close to the end zone, leans. I don't think they'll give it to him. They're going to have him short, I believe. I think I see some yellow on the field. I'm not sure if that is a flag. I believe it is. It sure is. And that will be, I believe, an illegal block on the offense. So that will move it from the 4, where the spot of the foul was. It will push them back 10. And they will start now at the 14. So another incredible run. Back-to-back great runs from Trevor Shawcross. The second one worth a little bit less than it originally was, but nonetheless, they will take the ball at the 14. About 10 seconds before the play clock expires. They haven't even left the huddle yet. We're at 5. And it will have to be a timeout for the Wolves, trying to avoid a delay of game, which would push this drive even further back. But we are getting set for only the 3rd play of this half. I mean, they have just jumped on top to start this half. 2 plays in, and they have gone from their own 45 all the way down to the Trojan 14. The first one, a 25-yard rush from Trevor Shawcross. And then the next one, even more than that, about 31 yards was the original mark. But then with the flag, it knocked them back 10. And then that is right now where they are. They just avoided a delay of game with a timeout, as they now look to punch this one in as they start inside the red zone for this first down. Gonna be a handoff to Trevor. Just feed the hot hand as he's pushing forward inside the 10. Down inside the 5 as the ball pops free. But the refs are going to say that he was down. So it will be a first down and goal at the 4. So where the original spot was of his deep carry. But now it will be first and goal from the 4. And the Wolves are still in business. They are now knocking on their 4th touchdown. Their first of the half. Ooh, Faked getting out of the huddle there. 10 seconds left on the play clock. Feed the hot hand. No, they're going to go up the middle. Lunges forward, and they're going to spot him just outside of the end zone. You could barely fit a whole sub from Drex subs between the spot of the ball and the goal line. So they're going to look to punch this one in. Direct Subs, a proud sponsor of the NBC Watertown stream. Handoff inside, dives forward. He'll cross the goal line for another Wolves touchdown. They continue to hand it around. This one, Zach McMahon, is going to be the man who's going to punch it in. Their fourth touchdown of the game and their fourth different player on the Wolves offense to score a touchdown in this game. No one has had a repeat touchdown as they set up to go for two yet again. They're going to hand it off to Trevor, and this time he gets dropped behind the line. The first time that a two-point conversion fails for the Wolves. A big stop there for the Trojans. Like I said, the first time that we have seen them get stopped in that spot. But that will still add 6 points to the Wolves' score as they now lead 30-6. This turning out to be a lot like the game that we saw last week between the Wolves and the Cyclones. That one the Wolves just ran away with. This one turning out to be about the same. Just running the ball and getting yards on command. And they have done a great job at just running and running and running until they find their way into the end zone. As they set up for their first kickoff of the half, just over 2 minutes in, and it will be an onside kick. Gets it over the first line, but can't get it far enough. It'll go out of bounds. And sure enough, out will toss the yellow flag. And that will make this opening drive of the half for the Trojans to be a little bit kinder. So 5 yards ahead, and they will start right on top of the middle field. So they will start at the 50-yard line to begin their first drive of the half. They opened the first half. Their first drive of the first half turned into 6 points. But since then, they have yet to find the scoreboard. First down, they're going to hand it off to who else but Alex Voltra. And just like what we started to see in the first half, the Wolves stop him at the line. So the run starts at the 50. He will stop his forward momentum at the 50. And now this ball will just get put right on top of that Indian River logo in the middle of the field. Takes the snap, another handoff to Voltra. And he runs right into traffic. Dropped yet again. This time, I believe they're going to put him maybe a foot behind the line. And it'll be 3rd and 10.5. So a much needed 3rd down conversion for the Trojans to stop this strong momentum from the Wolves. No handoff there, gonna pass. He's got a man running around. Gets out to the 45, which will be where he's taken down. That pass to Jack Brady. That will be about a 5.5-yard gain, and they'll be spotted at a 4th and 5 at the 45. So yet another 4th down for the Trojans. This has gone one of two ways in the first half. This was the exact kind of down that they were on when they scored their first touchdown, but they've also punted. This time they're going to hand it to Alex Voltra, and he will not get enough. It looked like he had a lane, but I believe that was Bruce Shawcross III who just broke off that tackle, or broke off that block, and just wrapped him up and threw him to the ground after a gain of 3. And it will now be a 1st down going in the opposite direction for the Wolves. Yet again, they keep these Trojans off the scoreboard. They have stopped the run game, which has been a key piece to the Trojans' success. And they're continuing their success on the run game, as this one's going to be a pitch to Trevor Shawcross, and he's got a lane. He's got speed, pushed forward. Ran too fast for his feet on that one and trips up at about the 32. Looks like they'll actually spot him. Oh. They'll spot him all the way back down at the 36. I thought maybe he tripped up a little farther than that, but it's where the men in stripes spot him. So that'll be where it starts. This time they're going to hand it off to the power back. He hasn't seen too much success, but that one certainly was successful. A gain of 8. And it'll be 2nd down. That one's Frederick Haynes.
With an 8-yard carry, 2nd down.
Just kind of bulldoze his way forward. Give it to the hot hand. Back to Frederick Haynes. He lunges forward. And that will be enough, I believe, for our 1st down. A few whistles come in, but no change. I believe he did lose the football, but they're saying he was down on that. As when all was said and done, it looked like a Trojan was on top of the ball. But it'll be a new 1st down for the Wolves, as they will start at the 26. Shawcross, yet again in formation, but they're going to give it to Frederick Haynes. Kind of seemed like an option play, because it looked like Tegan Wynn held on to that ball for a long time before eventually letting go into Haynes' grasp.
Number 2, Haynes with another carry, picks up 5.
But he'll gain 5 out of it regardless, and it will be a 2nd and 5 for Indian River. They're going to try to just continuously add on to this lead that they have grown. Raymond now in motion, but it won't matter as they still give it to Haynes. He's going to get lifted off his feet, but he's still getting pushed forward. It will certainly be enough for a 1st, as now they'll be in red zone. Red zone territory for the Wolves, as they now have a new 1st down.
Fred Haynes picks up another 1st down.
Haven't seen too much of him carrying before this. Now he comes off, and he's kind of shaking his head. It was a bit of an odd jog off the field. Hope he's okay. You hate to see a guy, especially after those few carries, be hurt, as this one's going to be a keeper for Wynn. Diving forward, I think he's a yard short. We'll see where they mark him. And sure enough, he is. But another 1st down for the Wolves.
Gets the ball right down to the goal line. 1st down.
Tegan Wynn, who has a rushing touchdown already tonight, nearly got his 2nd. Trying to make his case for our player of the game. He's going to push himself forward, and he'll remain standing in the end zone for another Wolves touchdown. Tegan Wynn, his 2nd touchdown of the game rushing.
Number 10, Tegan Wynn with the quarterback.
And they jump up to a 36 points and now a 30-point lead. with 5 minutes to go in the third. As they will line up yet again to go for two. Back to the formation that they had when it worked twice in a row for them. Oh, Wynn actually is under center here. He's going to look to pass. Throws just a bit low. Too low for Raymond to catch. As it rolls through the end zone incomplete. And the Wolves will walk away with only 6 on the drive, which will remain 36-6. Wolves lead. They have really shown out in this one. All kinds of points being thrown up on the board on one side. The other one struggling to get back to the drive that they had to open the game. As the wind picks up here on top of the booth here at Indian River. It is a chilly one tonight. The whole crew wearing sweaters, covering our hands, trying to hide ourselves from the wind. It is cold. But it doesn't seem too cold for the Wolves. A lot of them on both sides, both for Homer and Indian River, wearing short sleeves as that onside kick bobbles around and is fielded by Homer, and he's got a hole, and he'll run it out to the 50, and that'll be where they spot him for their second drive of the half. Will remain on the same spot as their first drive of the half. Like I was saying, some of these players even have shorts on. Sure, with all the running and tackling that they're doing, it doesn't seem too cold down there, but up here it is chilly. As Homer gets set here for their second drive of the half with just over 5 minutes to go in the third. Fakes the handoff to Voltra. Gets wrapped up and brought down. The Wolves get to the backfield and bring him down. And who else but Bruce Shawcross the third.
Sack on the play by number 54, Nicholas Burks.
The original hit by Nicholas Burtz kind of had him spinning around. And then Bruce picked up the scraps and brought him down. That'll actually be Nicholas Burt's second sack of the night. He had one earlier in the first half. Is this one the jet sweep? Gonna cut it to the outside, and he'll get knocked out of bounds after a gain of 2. Maybe even just 1. That one's another one for Jack Brady. Trojans just trying anything to get this offense working. But it seems like no matter what they pick in that playbook, the Warriors are just there to answer. Third down, looking deep. Throws off his back foot, and it drops incomplete. Intended receiver, Bryson Poole, throws it over his head. And it falls incomplete, and that will bring up a 4th and very long for the Wolves. Looks like the Trojans are set to punt, but the Wolves are sending their whole line forward not to recover this punt. Almost as if expecting a fake here. But sure enough, the Trojans will let go a punt. It will bounce first at the 35. Bounces back and gives him a good favorable roll all the way down to about the 29, which will be where the Trojans will pick it up. And where the Wolves will start their drive. So a third drive here in the third quarter for the Wolves. Their first 2, a lot like their 3 in the first half that turned into touchdowns. as we are just under 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Wolves have just been everything in this game, defense and offense, as they look to go for another touchdown on this drive. Offense back out there. Not sure where the ball goes with that kind of a scruffle, but I believe it ended in the hands of Trevor Shawcross. It did. He got about a yard, and that'll be all.
Indian River carry goes for a yard.
So it'll be 2nd and 9. Second down. Looks like another inside handoff to the power back. Another good run there for Frederick Haynes. He has had his way in the second half. He struggled on in the first half on getting his legs moving, but here in the second half, he has had no issue at all to get those yards. He got a good gain there, about a gain of 13 on that play. It'll be first down, but before the snap, we see a twitch on the offensive line. Homer points it out, and sure enough, it'll be a loss of 5 on the false start for the Wolves. The ball, if you don't believe me, it's windy. The ball rolls about a yard backwards just from the wind itself. And now the ref has to stand there and hold the ball down with his foot so that the ball doesn't continue to roll, as they immediately take the snap, hand it off to Trevor Shawcross, who breaks free, going down the numbers, stays on his feet and gives in. There's a flag down at the 45, and I'm not sure if any of this will matter, but as it stands, that is a 60-yard touchdown run. It is a face mask, which will be declined, and it stands as a Wolf touchdown. Trevor Shawcross, his second touchdown of the game. Let's look at this. You're not even going to see the full play with how long that this run was. You see, he nearly got tripped up there at the 10, but the heart in that kid to get into the end zone was not going to let anything stop him, as he can now celebrate a touchdown. They go for 2. They're going to hand it off to Frederick Haynes, who's going to push his way forward, and he'll get the 2 points added on. And that will bump this score to a 44-6 game, as they have completely ran away with this. I mean, what a run from Trevor Shawcross. I was a bit hesitant to celebrate the play, but because of the flag, I was sure we were going to see another offensive call, so I hesitated to be too excited on the play, but it stood. So we see Indian River add on 8 more, 44-6, with about 2.5 left in the third. It seems up to this point that we are watching a live battle between Tegan Wynn and Trevor Shawcross for our IBEW 910 NICA player of the game. And there's a bit of a squib kick out there, as that will go all the way down to the 25. Picked up by the Trojans, and he's going to dance his way around, stays on his feet, gets out to the 47 before being brought down. And that will be where the Trojans will start their next drive. Needless to say, they need some points here. We got about 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter. And it would
First down.
certainly be good if the Trojans can at least get some points on the board heading into the fourth. They have a long hill to climb if they want to get back in this thing. They're going to start with an Alex handoff, and that goes for 2 before this defensive line stops him, which they have done up to this point.
Homer carry goes for 2 yards.
He has had a ton of carries throughout this game. He's had a couple of decent ones, but not a lot have gone for an enormous amount, at least definitely not to an extent of what we just saw, as this time they're going to hand it off. That handoff to Bryson Poole, but he'll get back to the line, and that's it. So it'll be 3rd and 8 now for the Trojans. However, I believe there's an unsportsmanlike conduct call on the Trojans, which that doesn't help, as that will push them all the way back to the other side of the field. And from a play that was from the Indian River 46, this snap will now be taken at the Trojan 39. So not a good look for the Trojans on this drive if they want to keep this one alive. It'll be 2nd down and a long way. Whistles are blown and the ref moves in, making sure that the play actually does read 3rd down. I was sure I wasn't mistaken on that, but it's actually 3rd down. So to save this drive, they have to get all the way down to the Indian River 38. And we're going to see a pitch to the outside. He's going to try and cut his way upfield, but Indian River has wrapped him up, brought him down, and they'll actually lose yards in the play. Jack Brady snagging the pitch.
Again, number 54, Nicholas Burt with another open field tackle.
But Nicholas Burt, he has been a nightmare for this Trojan offense. He has 3 behind the line tackles. 2 of them have been sacks, that one on the pitch play. And now you can see Indian River believes that this will be a punt, as they do have a man in the back. But that punt will go out of bounds, and they will start their drive at the Indian River 39, which will actually wouldn't even have been a 1st down for the Trojans. So the Wolves will start yet another drive with just over 41 seconds left in the 3rd. We'll see if... I mean, this is about the spot that we saw Trevor's big run. This time they're going to fake it to Trevor. It goes to Ariel Raymond, who's got space. He runs it all the way down to the 35 and eventually goes out of bounds. We've seen this play before. The pitch to Trevor, who then hands it off to Ariel Raymond, and he gets his legs going. It's tough to stop him, as you see right there, running that one for a good 25. And the Wolves will go yet again. Wasting no time to get to the line. This one will go to Trevor, and he'll keep it. He gets some blocking, bounces off a hit, stiff arms a man, stays on his feet inside the 20, pushes a man, and eventually will go out of bounds at the 16. Trevor Shawcross will not go down. As they now will spot this one at the 16 with The clock continues to run. I believe it's supposed to stop. But seems like no one's willing to stop it. And Indian River won't mind taking this one to the end of the third. So the clock rolls on, and we head to our fourth quarter. Here in this one, Indian River leading by quite a bit. Currently leading by 38, as it is now 44-6. As we head to the final 12 minutes in this game. As we head into the fourth quarter, love to get yet another shout out to some of our sponsors. Obviously, our main sponsor for our stream, Bob Johnson, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. New or used, Bob Johnson has you covered. And they also give $5 car washes on Fridays. Another big one, Direct Subs. It's how you spell delicious. It sounds delicious. You don't just need to spell it. You can sound delicious. It's actually a Direct Subs not too far away from here. If they're not closed by the end of this, I may snag one myself. I'm getting hungry just talking about it. Another one, Grimsley Agency. Antonio Artieri, your hometown agent. Call his Watertown location at 315-782-8277 for Antonio Artieri. We get set here for the fourth quarter, as this is going to be a handoff inside to Frederick Haynes. He runs that for a good chunk of 4. And so it'll be second down. They start yet again inside the red zone. This time a pitch. Raymond gets the pitch. Nearly got hit early on, but juked inside. He'll end up getting wrapped for still a loss. It'll be a loss of 3. And it'll be 3rd and 8. Ariel Raymond, he hasn't had too many big carries in the second half. He had that one earlier, ran that one for 25 on the double fake, but looks like the Trojans have been able to slow him down a little bit. That one, another inside handoff to Frederick Haynes. He'll try and push his way forward. He won't get very far. He'll get maybe a yard or 2. And it'll be 4th down, just outside the 10 at the 11. So an interesting decision here for the Wolves. 4th down, the first time that they've had a 4th down this game. With this kind of a lead, you're curious on what they would go for. We haven't seen a kicker all game outside of the multiple kickoffs that they've been able to do off of these touchdowns. But they are going to go for it. Hand off to who else? Trevor Shawcross, who bulldozes his way forward and carries his man into the end zone. Trevor Shawcross, touchdown. His 3rd on the game. And that will add to the scoring here in the 4th quarter. As we take yet another look at it, we'll get the whole play on this one. Just forward toss right to him, shakes off a tackle, and then just decides, you know what, I'll just take the rest of these tackles with me. Running into the end zone as they now lead 50-6. Yes, you heard that right, 50-6. As they now set up for a 2-point conversion, they're going to pitch this one, and he's going to run his way into the end zone. Tyson Taft going to be the man to add those 2 points on the board. And that will now add to their lead. It is now a 46-point game. As you could tell, Tyson Taft has some fans here in the stands. Very happy to see him get his 2 points and find his way into the end zone. As we have exactly 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That drive took exactly 2 minutes out of the fourth quarter. As out comes the Indian River kicking team, which we have seen quite often in this one. We'll see if the Trojans can at least ease the pain and possibly carry some momentum into their next game, as this is a high kick. Goes way out of bounds. Actually rolls all the way to the end of the track on the other side, on the very far side of us. And so that will certainly be a 5-yard penalty at the end of the kick. And the Trojans will start their drive on the other side of the 50. They'll start it at the Indian River 48. Oh, sorry, the 43 actually. Trojans take a snap, hand it off to who else but Alexandra Voltra. He'll get a yard or two, and it'll be 2nd and 9. Trojans looking for any sort of momentum that they can get here, closing in at the end of this one. Handoff outside, and he gets ripped into, knocked down behind the line. Landon Brown being the man who gets that one. First time we've heard his name get called in this one. He gets back to the line, but that's about it. This Warriors defense has been a magnet to that football. Just piling up on top of the carrier, whoever has it. It has been a tough go for the Homer Trojans. The Warriors are making them work for every yard that they gain. 3rd and 9, and we're going to see a jump forward, and that'll move this 3rd down 5 yards back, and it will now be 3rd and 14. And the clock will continue to roll. We're just past 3 minutes into this fourth quarter. About 5 seconds before the play clock expires. Going to want to get this snap off. They do. He's going to look back to pass. He looks deep downfield, overshoots his man. Incomplete. He goes down on his throw. And I'm telling you, this Indian River defense making it work for every play, and that includes passing. It seemed like every single pass, quarterback is still taking a hit. That was Jack Brady, intended receiver on that pass. But it'll be 4th and 14. As you see, yet again, the ref having to hold down the football with his foot with the wind gushing through here at Indian River. Takes the snap. He's going to look for it. He's going to run it himself. Gets past the line, but won't get much further. Gets knocked out of bounds. Looked like a gain of 7. But that'll be just about it, and that will end their drive there. As after almost an exactly 2-minute drive, yet again, the Wolves will get back onto the field. So with just about 8 minutes left here in the fourth, the Wolves will get their second drive of the quarter. Looks like a little bit of some subs coming in and coming out. And a timeout called by the Wolves. Looked like some substitution miscommunication there. Wanted to make sure that they get the right men on the field for this play to start this drive. Which, I mean, the clock is stopped, so the timeout doesn't really stop the clock. Just keeps it where it is. Keeps it how it is. As we get set for Indian River to start up their next drive. As now they get set and lined up for this next drive. Handoff. Asen Traft gonna move forward, and he'll get about 5 there before he gets brought down. So it'll be 2nd and 5 for the Wolves. Clock will keep ticking now on this one. Back to the line, and a flag comes out, and it'll be a false start on the Wolves.
Be a 5-yard penalty on the offense. 2nd down.
So that will actually move them back to the original line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Inside handoff to the power back. He'll fall forward. Rolled right over top of the line. I believe that was Aiden Reff with the run.
Picks up about 3. 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Wolves. You can see their offense definitely just slowing down. The Wolves have put Carter Bayline as QB. This one, another one to Taft. Pushes forward, but won't even get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll actually lose a yard there, and it'll be 4th and 8.
Bring up a 4th and 8.
We'll see how the Wolves go about this one. As we hit 6 minutes left, they're going to hand it back off to Taft. He's going to run forward. Getting a good chunk. I think he's only going to get 6, though. I'll only give him 4. And that will end the Wolves' drive right there. So a turnover on downs, and maybe that will give the Trojans some momentum. Here in the final 6 minutes of the half. Discussing a play here, which is interesting because there's play clock is winding down. There's 10 seconds left on the play clock as they are running it out. Ref bumps up the play clock for him. Trojans hand it off, runs it to the outside and gets brought down. That one, Logan Griffin with the run. Pushes his way forward for a gain of 5. And it'll be second down. Back to the line they go. Snap, another handoff. Griffin pushing his way forward, and I think he's got the first. He does. First down for the Trojans. Looking to keep moving with this momentum.
Homer Carey picks up about 6 and a first down.
Evan Sullivan now doing the QB duties for the Trojans. A couple of handoffs on this drive. They've gone for a few. They set up for another first down. Another handoff, Griffin. Wrapped up. Brought down after another gain of 2 or 3. And another positive gain for the Trojans, and it'll be second down.
Picks up about 3, second down.
We're closing in on 8 minutes past in this fourth quarter. Only 4 minutes remaining in this one. Inside handoff. This one, he gets wrapped up just about at the line. That one, Hunter lines with the snag on the handoff. But again, only getting back to the line. And it will be 3rd and 7. I feel like we are just about in the territory where we can put a cap on this one. We have seen some pretty big comebacks this season. As that pitch to the outside, it's Lucas Griffin again. He's going to push his way forward for a gain of 6. They'll stop him just a yard short of the chain marker. So it will be 4th down, but it'll only be 4th and 1. As we near close to 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Another handoff, Griffin. He's going to find some space. He's going to cut to the outside, and you can wave him goodbye. Touchdown, Trojans. Logan Griffin cut that to the outside, got the wheels turning. And he took off. Beautiful handoff. Good little stiff arm there, bouncing off the block. And he is home free. So some needed points there for the Trojans, not necessarily to win the game, but more for momentum going into their next game. As they now look for 2, fires, end zone, wide open. Touchdown. James Hunter converts the 2 points with that catch, standing all alone in the back of the end zone. And now the score will move to 52-14. Still would take a lot for the Trojans to get back in this one, but it looks a little bit not as bad this time. Score's not as bad as it was at the end of the first half or as it was a few minutes ago. So we now sit with 2:48 left in the fourth quarter. Most of the Wolves' drives have taken about 2 minutes. We'll see if they try and do the same just to run this one out. As the Trojans are set to kick this one off. Boots that one, bounces at the 20, and that'll be fielded by the Wolves, and he's going to take off. Gets about a 15-yard gain before he's brought down.
Number 5, Makai Coles, returns the kickoff to the 35-yard line.
Now it's about 4 seconds off the clock. And the Wolves will take over. Wolves set up for their next drive. Getting handed to Taft, who's going to cut it to the outside, tries to cut back in, and he'll get wrapped up and brought down. Losing a yard there. It'll be second down.
Number 21, Taft, carry, loses about a
You'll
yard.
note that Trevor Shawcross was actually out there for that one. He comes off. He has had a phenomenal game today. Very strong candidate today for our player of the game. There's a few candidates who we'll talk about a little bit later. As that one pitched, he'll run his way through. He'll gain 4 or 5, maybe even 6 there. They'll give him 6 on that. That is Caden Elliott with that one.
About 6, 3rd and 5.
Takes that little pitch, runs that for a good chunk. So it'll be 3rd and 5 as the clock continues to roll down. Under 2 minutes now in this one. A little bit of a muffed snap, but he ends up picking it up and handing it off, and he's going to push his way forward. A good run there for the Wolves. 7 yards of gaining and a first down.
Indian River carry picks up a first down.
The Wolves will now start to milk this clock down. We'll see just how much they're going to push. His clock. And he is just going to walk up and take a knee. And I believe they'll probably just do that again. And that will put an end to this game. So at the end of all of this, the Wolves will walk away with a win. And the final score of tonight will be 52-14. Wolves with yet another win. Their record will move to 5-1 with yet another dominant victory. And the player of the game, we're going to give it to Trevor Shawcross. There is a ton of candidates for this one, but Trevor is very well deserved of this honor. The 60-yard touchdown. He's had multiple touchdowns tonight. And if you tuned in last week, you will know that he also won it last week. So back-to-back IBEW 910 NICA Player of the Games. Congratulations to Trevor Shawcross. As that puts a cap on this game. I mean, the opening touchdown for the Trojans was just all that they could muster. The Wolves they were in control for the rest of this game. Another shout out to all of our sponsors before we go. Bob Johnson, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Direct Subs, Grimsley Agency, the North Star Health Alliance, Carthage Area Hospital, and North Country Orthopedics, the Laura Whitney State Farm, and of course, our IBE 910 Nika. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors for tonight. We'd like to thank you for tuning in. And as for me, Josh Madison, and my stream crew, Zach Zabriskie, and on the cameras, Cody Wheeler and Morgan Young, we'd like to thank you and have an absolute wonderful evening. Good night.